something like that. Yeah. What nationality is Sigel?
It's German.
Oh, okay, okay.
I've never been there. I'm probably about 1/4 German, I think.
So
There's a
part German.
Yeah, there's a teeny little town with that spelling in Germany.
Yeah, that white skin kind of gave it away that you're part German and not Mexican.
Yep, yep. I also got some Irish, another really white.
Yeah, I got a bunch. Here, before you start, I got a quick joke for you. What do you call a person that speaks two languages?
Bilingual, I'll go for it.
Yeah. What do you call a person that speaks one language?
Uh,
American.
Monolingual.
American.
Oh, yep,
Yeah, so
totally.
what's your website again? How many different websites do you have? What are your two main websites? The affiliate product and the other one.
Well, for the purposes of this,
Let's
my
go for that one.
sportshypnosistraining.com.
It's sports hypnosis training, right?
Yeah. And my client website is sportshypnosiswest.com. WEST.
Oh yeah, so I saw they took that post down on MSF. Why did they take your post down? Was it like you were trying to promote something?
I was trying to figure that out, and I think I copied and pasted a question I put in a private group I'm in, and I think I had the title of the book in there. I think that was the problem.
Yeah, the one thing I like about them is they're very clean. Are you on Colin Therio's Cult of Copy? Here, I'll add you to it. It's a really good guy. He cusses a lot. You don't mind people that cuss, do you?
No.
Okay, good. Yeah, he's really good marketer. Let's see. Pull this up. Training. Let me see. Here, where's the actual login link? Because I went through it really, really quickly.
Do we have a chat that I can type stuff to you?
You can just send it through the
Facebook?
yeah, that's probably easier. Aha. Yeah, what do you use on the back end? Is it are you using WP membership?
No, it's DAP.
What is it?
DAP, Digital Access Pass.
Oh, okay, I have heard that quite a few times.
Yeah.
Let's see if my login got saved. You know what? I'll log in this later because I use this thing that saves my passwords, but it's gonna be too much of a pain in the butt to log in. Okay, so got this recording. Let me close these windows. And if this does get disconnected, sometimes my internet's kind of funky. I'll just have to reconnect. I should probably put my face on first for that nice non-Japanese overdub. Hey folks, it's Antonio with HypnosisProductReviews.com. Today I'm interviewing my friend and I guess you could call colleague, Craig Sigel from SportsHypnosisTraining.com about his, I would call it groundbreaking. Actually, let me start that over. Aloha folks, it's Antonio Perez with HypnosisProductReviews.com. Today I'm interviewing my friend Craig Sigel from SportsHypnosisTraining.com about his groundbreaking program that is specifically designed to help hypnotists work with athletes. And for everybody that's wondering why I'm wearing a jacket, considering I live in Hawaii, it's winter. We get winter here. It's chilly. We get those ocean breezes. It's cold. How you doing, Craig?
I am doing fantastic. Thanks for having me, Antonio.
Yeah, indeed. Funny story. We're gonna do this at 10 o'clock Pacific your time, so we talked about doing it at Pacific. For some reason, I got up late, and I look at we're gonna do it at 11 o'clock Pacific. I look at a message from him, and he's like, "Hey, it's like 11 o'clock right now. What's going on?" Then I realized I'm like, "Oh, you meant Pacific, not like South Pacific time." That's how I got it mixed up. So
I'm in Seattle. I'm in the Seattle area.
Yeah, I just have to remember Pacific is not my Pacific. Yeah, so how can you give the audience a brief rundown of yourself and I guess how you came to be?
Yeah, I used to do all the normal hypnotherapy clients and issues, anxieties, weight loss, medical issues, smoking, the whole gamut. I started in 2004 with my first training, and the more I just got myself out there, it seems like, and I've told this to a number of hypnotherapists I've trained ever since, it seems like the people that you resonate with will find you. And athletes kept coming to me, and in particular, youth sports, youth athletes, kids, middle schoolers, and high schoolers, because they're just not served very well out there in the sports world. Coaches don't have a clue how to help them. Sports psychologists are all out there trying to help the college and the professionals to get their name out there. And I put a separate site out there, my original site, Sports Hypnosis West, and people started calling me up, and word got out. And now here in the Seattle market, it's what I've decided to pretty much specialize in it.
I know you're in Seattle. Who have you done many trainings in Seattle, or is that your home base?
That's my home base, yes.
You got some really good hypnotists out of there. I know you got Roger Moore, Kelly Woods. I know I'm gonna forget some. Keith Livingston.
Absolutely, all friends of mine.
Really good people.
All friends of mine. Yep. Roy Hunter.
Oh my God! I'm sorry. I totally forgot about Roy Hunter, even though I interviewed him. Sorry about that, Roy.
There's another one, Mary Lee LeBay. She's a local favorite.
Yeah, I know Mary Lee. You know, it's funny. And a little side note. I think it was probably about maybe 2 years ago. I was working at the activity booth, timeshare booth that I work at, and this Asian girl, I think her boyfriend, really cute girl, came in. I asked them what they do back home. She said she does massage therapy. So I usually segue. I'm like, oh yeah, I do hypnotherapy. It's an easy way to segue into it. She told me she's from Seattle. I'm like, yeah. I think she told me she was interested in learning NLP and hypnotherapy. I'm like, oh no way. I'm like, you gotta talk to him. Like, you gotta talk to Keith Livingston. Her face dropped. She's like, you know Keith? She's like, yeah, he's my friend. So I call up Keith. I'm like, he's like, hey, he's got that. Keith has a very unique voice.
Yeah.
Keith, he's like, hey, what's up? I'm like, hey, I got somebody that wants to talk to you. Put him on the phone. The hypnosis community is such a small, really tight-knit community.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know if I told you, it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I pulled into a parking lot where I work at. I look up my right side window, and I'm looking. I'm like, holy shit! Connie Ray and Steve Andreas are standing there. A very small world.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. I was president of the Washington Hypnotherapy Association for a few years, and really got close with all the Seattle community here. I actually passed it off to Keith, and yeah, they're trying to do some things here with our state, and it's happening all over the country where they're trying to create more rules and regulations for us. And so here in Washington State, we're trying to head that off and get together as a group.
Yeah, I know they took care of that. You heard about they took care of that in Vegas, right?
Right.
Well,
it's not going to end for us hypnotherapists. There's always going to be somebody who wants to come at us, and we'd have to be prepared for that.
Indeed. I was say there's another really good. In Seattle, there's a two hypnotists, wife and husband team. Oh, I'm trying to remember. I used to remember the old Matt James Hypnosis Forum.
Yes.
Her name, I don't remember her name. I think it was Poodle. God, I'm having a brain for. Michael.
Joni?
What?
Talking about Joni?
Not Joni, no. Let's see. I'm having here. I got a little problem over here. I'm gonna have to edit a little bit of that out. I'm trying to remember her name. Freaking Oh my God. I've known her for, you know somebody for years, and you're like, okay, what was her name? I just forgot.
Yeah. There's a husband and wife, and I'm blanking on their names too, out of Tacoma, and I thought it was Joni, and they run the Tacoma Hypnosis School.
No, it's I'm trying to remember. I know she used to teach. I think she was a big part of the NGH for a little while. Let's see. I mean, she doesn't have any cats. Haha. Okay, that good thing. I'm gonna edit that part out. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I just had to set up a screen recorder so I can record my face on the bottom. That way I can dump it in later. Okay, so I'm gonna edit a lot of that useless junk out. Yeah, you ever been up to Hawaii before?
I have not. I would love to. Yeah, I need to get out there.
Hint: golf is really popular out here. You could definitely get a good foot in.
Absolutely. I partner with one of the top instructors on the planet. His name's Brian Mogg, and he goes out to Hawaii. He's got a what do you call it? An academy out there. So he's out there once a month working with players, and he keeps telling me, and he and I create products together.
Time to get out here then.
Yep.
So, if you don't mind me asking, what's I guess 3 of the biggest things that that athletes need help with? Is it similar across all sports, or is I know, for example, I've worked with I think 1 or 2 golfers.
Yeah.
Think about golf. Golf is an extremely mental game.
Absolutely.
You walk and you're thinking, oh God, what I do? Oh my God, what am I doing?
Right.
I don't know if it's slightly different for golf.
Well, I will tell you this: there are peculiarities about every sport, of course. However, I will also say that it all boils down to fear, in particular, fear of failure. I don't care what we're talking about, what sport, who comes to me. They come to me saying things like, I lack confidence, I need confidence, I don't have focus, I doubt myself, or I'm too much of a perfectionist and I beat myself up. Those are the kind of things they say. But I promise you, when we get down to it, it's all about fear, and I've come up with a whole process to help destroy that. And the sports psychology world calls it performance anxiety.
Yeah, they got to give it a fancy word.
Yes, I don't use fancy words. I use them as little as possible. I use stories and basic concepts, and because I'm working with kids for the most part, and it's always surprising how much they get it if you speak on their level, and I've learned how to do that.
Yeah, but the hypnosis community, we're not known for making our own jargon at all.
No.
God, I've heard. And I hear later, it's almost like I don't know if you ever played Dungeons and Dragons when you were a kid. We were playing Dungeons and Dragons. I think for actually no, I played for 2 times. I'll tell you why I wasn't allowed to play anymore. But it's all that jargon. This is a very nerdy field. It's fun. I love it.
Yeah.
A little segue since I brought up the Dungeons and Dragons. I think the first or second time I played, I asked my friends told me, look, you can be any character you want. And me, I've loved hypnosis ever since I was 6, so naturally I was gonna be a hypnotist. So every time I rolled the dice, my skill was I make you do what I want to do. They only let me play twice. They're like, nope. They're like, you're ruining the game. You can't play anymore. I was like, come on. I was like, you told me to use my imagination. I did, and now I get penalized.
Nice. Yeah.
Stupid screen recorders messing up. Okay, you got about 40 minutes, right?
I got some things in order. I could go to an hour from now, easy.
Linux is driving me crazy. That should work.
You just like to kind of make it really cash and just have a conversation, and we're just gonna.
So, I have a brain fart. Yeah, doing niche work till 4 in the morning is usually not a good idea when you have an interview the next day. Okay, I know you obviously can't talk about some of the biggest golfers you play with. I'm pretty sure there'd be a big breach of confidentiality.
Yeah, isn't that funny? I've worked with an MVP in a sport I can't name, people who've been on the tour, and they don't want that out there. That's the only problem with working with professional athletes. And I get my share of them, but you know what? That's really not our market. It's fine to every once in a while they'll come to you, but when I teach all my hypnotherapists who want to work with athletes, I say you'll have fun with it every once in a while. They'll come to you because you're the person in your market, but that's not what we're here for. Like I said, focus on the kids. There are thousands and thousands in any decent-sized city who are getting no help. They are failing. They're in pain, and as a marketer, Antonio, you know darn well, pain sells.
Yep.
People will pull their wallets out when there's pain.
Yeah, if you have a toothache, I've told people, like, look, if you have a toothache, I've been at the point I'm like, oh my god, if I didn't have insurance, I'm like, I've got $400 right now, pull my tooth out, it hurts.
Right. And think about this: if you're somebody, you're a parent looking for a kid, or maybe you're a college athlete and you're looking to get to that next level, and somebody tells you about sports hypnosis or that hypnosis can help with mental blocks, right? What are you going to do? Are you just going to, and you're going to go on Google and you're going to search hypnosis in sports. And if you find somebody who's got a well-designed, or at least it's a basic, site that's all about sports hypnosis and the mind for sports using hypnosis, are you going to pick that person to work with, or are you going to pick a general hypnotherapist who's got a little tab on there that says, I also do sports?
Oh yeah, those hypnotists that have one page, it's like, I do all of this. People, they don't have any paragraphs. It's like somebody on Facebook, they make a Facebook update, it's like one big entire paragraph. Focus on 2 or 3 things, and like, if you focus just on sports performance, that's going to weed everybody else out.
Absolutely. In your market, there's hardly anybody. I mean, in every market, when I say market, medium to big size city, if you just have a 3 or 4 page website, and you can get them really cheap these days, a WordPress website's a couple $300, and you just have a few pages all about you and sports, you're going to get everybody who's interested in it. Because you're going to rank ¡1. You don't have to do anything hardly. It's like free money.
Exactly.
And all these hypnotherapists out there are scratching for clients, and nobody's jumping on this whole huge market that just is in need. They pull out. What parent is not going to pull out money to help their kid for a few $100s when they're spending thousands on travel teams, equipment, league fees, the actual travel, the injuries they deal with? They spend tens of thousands. Spending a few $100s on you, it's nothing. It's a drop in the bucket.
Oh, no.
Their kid comes home crying because they got cut from the team or whatever. Pain. Who do I help? Coaches are no help. Coaches are no help at all. What are you going to go to a family counselor? What do they know about getting cut from the varsity volleyball team?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you know what I'm saying? They don't have a clue about, this is the kind of stuff that people just go, people come to me all the time, you're such a blessing. Thank you, Craig. You really helped my family. I mean, this is really why I do this, because it's, I'm helping people with their life. And these kids learn this stuff and they stick with them their whole life. And I'm really, really proud of that.
Oh, you evil marketers are only out for the dollar. That's the funny thing. I tell hypnotists, you have to know how to market. If you don't know how to market, you're pretty much you're stuck in the water.
Yep.
In deep pool.
Yep.
With that being said, what are, I guess, the 3 biggest ways that to market towards market towards people for sports performance?
Yeah. Well, I just gave you the first one. The first one is to create a small or as big as you want, little website that's geared towards sports hypnosis and your city. Sports hypnosis Los Angeles, sports hypnosis Honolulu, sportshypnosis.com. Or even if you can't get the .com, sportshypnosis anything.com or .net or whatever. and put your city in there if you can. And I'm telling you, you'll be amazed. People will come to you. That's number one, and it's really simple. Number two is to ask your clients at the end, after they're happy, A, for a testimonial, and B, do you know anybody else who needs this help? This is the easiest way to get new clients. I know people spending scads of money on ads that don't work and all kinds of crazy, lazy methods. And the simplest thing to do is when somebody tells you, this is great, you go, do you know somebody else who can use this work? It is amazing how much free clientele you get out of that. And my third number one way is even more simple. It's turn single session clients into multiple session clients. It is so much easier to get more sessions out of one client than it is to get more clients. And so I developed a process, and I do this for all my clients. I pretty much only see athletes these days. A few of my old clients that I'm very loyal to, and I'll always take care of them. But when somebody calls and asks me for hypnotherapy for anything, I don't talk about hypnotherapy. I talk about their problem and the process I have that's going to help them get from their problem to where they want to be. And it's a multiple session process, and I spell it out.
So basically, problem, solution.
Yep.
Benefits.
Absolutely.
What's that radio station? You know, turn the knob. What's in it for me? What's it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, one thing I want to, since we're kind of on marketing and bringing people in, one thing, and I know you know this as a marketer, but hypnotherapists need to understand, market to what people want. When they get to you, give them what they need. And sometimes those are different.
True. So are you saying that sometimes I guess the client might not know what they actually need?
Oh, absolutely they don't know.
Okay.
They know they can identify their problem. I don't have any confidence. I get scared before an event. I've had athletes come to me literally throwing up before events and getting sick, and they can't do it. They're so nervous and anxious about their event and the pressure and all that stuff. Or I have a mental block. They know their symptoms, but they have no clue how they're going to get out of it. But of course, in all my marketing, in all my web posts and the articles I write, I talk about the problems that they have. I use their words. So here's a perfect example, and I preach this everywhere to hypnotherapists. Hypnotherapists love to say things like, are you stuck? Are you, is your subconscious mind giving you messages of blah, 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 blah? They don't talk that way. Nobody ever comes to me and says, I'm stuck. You know what they say? They say, well, I'm just anxious all the time. And so I use those words. I just mirror those words back to them. And that's how I gain rapport at the beginning of my sessions as well. And then I lead them to my process once I get some rapport.
Yeah, that comes back to the whole thing about about the jargon speak.
Yes. Right.
We have a lot of jargon speak, and I've done that before. I've talked to people like, well, I was telling people, I got this thing called the swish pattern and this and that, and they're like, I don't care.
Yep. No, I've made up really simple terms for everything I do with these clients. For example, when I'm working with 12-year-old baseball player, 12-year-old anything, and I do want to get across the idea that we kind of have two minds. I don't say the conscious and the subconscious. I say we got two minds. We got a thinking mind, which we think with, which we're using right now, and we also got this thing I call the power mind. It's basically your body. 8, 9, 10-year-old kids get that. Now I can use it to help them understand how we're going to make changes here.
Yeah, so kids don't really understand unconscious. Hell, most hypnotists and people don't understand that.
I have to agree with you.
Now, with all this being said, I would like to segue into the meat of this podcast. I would like to talk about your your program you have at sportshypnosistraining.com. And folks,
Yes.
look either above or below, you'll find a link to it.
Yes, absolutely. So I've only done one in-person training for sports, and I did that here in Seattle with all my local hypnotherapists, and with the purpose of filming it, which I put it on in a password protected membership site. So it's a 2-day training basically. It's probably about 12 hours, and that was edited down. Obviously, I cut out all the stuff that it's just would be a waste of time for somebody to watch online. And basically, I take them through everything I do with clients, from the phone call that somebody calls to ask me, hey, I got a kid who lacks confidence, and here's what you'll hear most often: he or she plays great in practice, but when it comes to game time, can't make it happen. So what would most hypnotherapists say? They probably say something like, oh yeah, I have this hypnotherapy program. I do this with people, and hypnosis is a natural, normal thing. I don't do any of that. So here's what I talk about. I said, well, first of all, I teach my client. This whole thing is in my program. I teach people how to get clients, how to keep them, how to turn into more clients, but even more importantly, how to create belief in these clients. Because it's everything. If your client doesn't have belief, they will block the progress and the interventions and the techniques. All the techniques in the world are useless if they have doubts that they're going to work.
Exactly. If you don't have the belief in that you can accomplish this or you can accomplish that, any suggestions you give them aren't going to do a damn thing.
Right. So I have a whole process that I teach in my program, but I'll just give you the highlights. It starts, and I kind of mentioned this before. I said the first thing I do is I get them to talk. I get the client to talk. If they ask me questions like, how much does it cost? I say, well, it depends. What's your success rate? I say, well, let's talk about what the issue is. I do not answer direct questions right off the bat. You want to get connection, rapport. You ask questions, and you get them to speak. And by the end of the phone call, no, I'm already their hypnotherapist. I'm already the guy for them. But what seals the deal, and this is what my whole training is about, is I teach them about this process, this program I'm going to take them through. And I'll pretend you're one of my clients or potential clients right now. I'd say, Mr. Perez, so here's what I do. I take my clients through a 4-session program. And in that program, we're going to work at the thinking mind level or the conscious mind. If I'm talking to adults, I can usually say this. And we're also going to work at the subconscious level. All right, so all my clients, they come through my program, they learn self-hypnosis, they learn internal conflict resolution, they learn how to get in the present moment, they learn how to master their emotions, which makes them courageous and fearless. And that is the core of everything I do. So we do this at the conscious and the unconscious level. First part of the session is going to be talking and teaching.
Can you hear me? That just disconnected for a little while.
Oh, I could do it again. Want me to start all over?
Yeah, I hope to God it recorded everything. Arg. Here, give me a second. Stupid internet.
Want me to start all over with that?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah. One thing that I like to do, almost with bullets on copy. I like to give them a little bit of tease, kind of give them the tease about this process, like what this process will help with, and be like, oh, this is on module 1, video 2. What happens is that people almost look forward to, they scramble to get to that part. So I don't know if you can remember any
Well, I'm going to go log in myself because I forget how it's organized.
That's what I was trying to do. I went to sign out of my Hotmail account, and then I realized I did that, and I was like, oh no, or my YouTube account or Gmail, and I realized this is set up to it.
Okay, good. That's a great idea. I like it. Let me log in. I can bring it up real easy here.
hopefully all that got saved.
I'm so used to, I'm not used to actually talking about my course on all these interviews. I'm used to talking about my processes. Nobody wants me to pitch. And you're like, hey, let's talk about the actual product. That's new to me.
You know what it is? It's like when people come into my timeshare booth, they're like, "You're going to try selling something to me?" I'm like, yeah, I am.
Okay, good.
I'll tell people if they come in, if I'm in a really good mood when people come in, I might tell them, like, hey, I'm a salesperson. You probably won't like me at first. You're going to get to like, or I'll tell them, like, hey, if you think I'm trying to sell you something, I'm not going to let you down.
All right, good. I got it up. I can definitely get more specific to the training.
Okay, if you want to do that, I guess give that kind of marketing tease that everybody hates, but it works.
Okay, good.
I don't know if there's a couple things you want to talk about. A couple things. Oh, but by the way, that's on Module 2. Sometimes if you can be, Module 2, Paragraph 1, because it gets so specific, people are like, I gotta find it. Now, where were we? What were we talking about right before they got cut off?
So, I think you just asked me tell us about the training, and I was going into my process, which is the way I normally answer interview questions. But why don't you just ask me again? Let's just get right to it, Craig, and tell me about the training.
So, Craig, do me a favor. For all of my audience out here, the hypnotists, the hypnotherapists, NLP practitioners, whatever you want to call them, life coaches, kumbaya, whatever you want to call these people. What's the meat of the program? Can you give us a couple little nuggets of what's involved with your program or in the program?
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, I was able this was a live training for 2 days, and it's all in a Password Protected membership site, edited down to get rid of the stuff you don't need to hear. And it's about my 4-session process. Like I said earlier, if you want to get more clients, get more sessions out of the clients you already do get. And so I take them step by step. For example, the first part of my process is always setting the framework. Module 1 is all about getting the client into a place where you are going to set them up for success. I mean, I literally box them in. For example, in the first 30 minutes, I have techniques to destroy long-held beliefs that these young athletes have come to me and had for years. We can get rid of them with just a few NLP language patterns. It's really powerful. I then teach them how to direct their focus. Focus, I believe, can solve all problems, right? And then the other part is getting them to completely and totally believe in their ability to change. That's all in Module 1. Module 2 is all about my patented emotional mastery process. Now, I don't go promoting this to my athletes, but I promote it as how to be fearless. This is what they want. The truth is, I'm teaching them how to master their emotions. And it all comes down to this. There's only 2 things we do in life. And by the way, we already talked about, the bottom line to all these athletes' problem is fear. And I've distilled this down to this. There's only 2 things we do fear for: physical harm and danger to the body, and fear of emotions. All right? And I walk my clients down a logical path that they follow me. It's really simple. I've had 8-year-olds understand this and break away from mental blocks like gymnasts. I see a lot of gymnasts who have mental blocks, and baseball players with slumps and all kinds of crazy weird stuff I could talk for hours on. But this emotional mastery gets rid of the fear. And I've had hypnotherapists come to me and come to this actual training when I held it live just for this alone. Because what if, just logically speaking, Antonio, just think, what if the only thing you did fear for was physical harm and danger to the body? What if? Well, you're essentially fearless, because we want to keep, being afraid of guns and poisonous snakes and falling off cliffs. That's what it's for. And so I have a way to put that out there step by step, and I get into really big details and give my clients tools, and I pass these tools on to hypnotherapists, and it's really easy to follow. Right? And then the third module is all about heavy-duty advanced tactics to get rid of really stuck, really tough beliefs and clear out mental blocks and conflicts. So I get into the details of how to use the regression technique for clearing, let's say, perfectionism, and how to apply that to athletes in the performance realm. Right? I also have a whole segment where I teach my clients how to do self-hypnosis. Lots of my clients and testimonials on my main website will tell you this alone has been the thing that they love most of all. And it's something that hypnotherapists can take to the public. It's something that I teach every single one of my clients because I'm all about empowering my clients. I want them to have tools. And when I'm selling my system to them or my program to the client, whether they want to work with me, I tell them, when you're done or when your son or daughter is done, he's going to have a set of tools. Hypnotherapists take that to the bank. Use those words. People love tools. Use those words. And my whole system is about tools. Right? I have another special tool that helps athletes get over making mistakes. This is one of the biggest problems in sports. Like baseball, it's a game of mistakes. In fact, most sports are who's going to make the least amount of mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Now, there is an old axiom that in sports psychology, you have to take responsibility for your mistakes, but you also can't beat yourself up for it. So I've got this amazing technique. I call it the mistake maker, and it just does wonders, and it just clears out all kinds of garbage for these kids. Right? I also teach them how to use parts therapy for athletes for things like mental blocks, for getting over injury. Here's an example. I see athletes all the time who come to me because they're cleared to play from an injury, and they're going out there and they're timid and they're scared because they're afraid of re-injury. I teach my hypnotherapists how to get someone over that. And that goes you can use that for other areas outside of sports as well. And then the last segment, the last module, I go into a lot of marketing. I really expand. In fact, I did I think it was a 2-hour interview with Craig Eubanks, who's a hypnosis marketer. And that's up there. They get that. It's everything that I do to get clients, everything I do to keep them, everything I do to get more sessions out of my clients. I could talk for hours. How much you want me to talk, Antonio?
I can't imagine you could talk for. I mean, that's the thing. I could talk for hours about hypnosis, and my girlfriend, when I find somebody that talks hypnosis, she's like, "Good, talk to them. I've heard enough about it."
Yeah.
Now, is there anything that maybe we can put together in the next 5 or 10 minutes that can be used as a bonus to entice people to get your program that you don't have in there?
Well,
I don't know if you have any kind of new developments you've been working on.
Well, I tell you what. Anybody who buys through you, I've never offered this, and my time is extremely valuable, but I will give them a half an hour on the phone with you.
Wow.
After they've gone through the program, and if they have a really tough client, or maybe their first client, they don't know what to do, we can get on the phone or Skype, and I'll guide them through, based on what we taught, and I'll help them diagnose what I think they should do.
That is an amazing deal. And if you don't mind me asking, I'm sure what everybody's thinking. Everybody hears a salesperson like, "Come on, get to the point. What's the price?" So is it saying $500?
I'm glad you asked. That was about how much I charged in person, but I'm putting this down at $197. And
Yeah,
right now I
it's
charge $200 an hour for my sessions. So half hour of my time, that's $100 right there.
Think about it, all that money right there. I tell folks, look at, like I tell my customers, let's say for example, if somebody wants to do a helicopter, like, I don't know about the price. I'm like, look, and all these hypnotists are gonna be like, hey, don't use language patterns with me. Anyhow, I told my customers, I'm like, hey, think about it. 5 months from now, when you're holding on to the memories from that helicopter, like 90 minutes of time to your presentation will be meaningless, or like $200 a person. It's meaningless. It's the benefits you get out of it far outweigh it.
Well, let me appeal to our logical, rational side. One sports client will more than pay for this whole thing, and you will own that and the knowledge for life. One. And one sports client done well and get their outcome, that always turns into 5 or 10 because they talk.
And it seems like with sports, the sports clientele, especially if they've got a kid on a team, it's all about teamwork. So they're be like, hey, what did you do? How did you get better? I'm like, oh, my dad took me to Mr. Sigel. My dad took me to Mr. Perez. Then it just starts to snowball.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? It's not even so much the kids, the parents talk. The parents in the stands talk. This is what I hear.
They're proud about them.
Parents are in the stands watching their kid play, and they're talking about, oh, Johnny over there, boy, he's been struggling lately. And I go, yeah, I know. And they say, well, Paul over there, he used to struggle just like that too. Well, what did he do? Well, he went to this guy, Craig Sigel. And all I have to do is Google my name or type sports hypnosis, and I come up, and I make it real easy to find me. Even if the parent doesn't remember my name or doesn't remember where I am, all they have to do is say, well, they did sports hypnosis. So that goes back to why you ought to have a little 3 or 4 page specific site for sports hypnosis.
No, let me ask you, still keeping, I guess, in the line of pitch mode, so all the people that are trying to deflect the pitches left and right, what are some of the main objections that you get to people that are thinking about getting this program?
Excellent. The number one question I get is, I don't know anything about sports. Can I still work with athletes? And the answer is absolutely. You don't need to know anything about sports. You don't need. In fact, I only know about football, baseball, and basketball from playing it as a kid myself and watching it occasionally on TV. Right? But I have worked with so many sports I didn't even know existed. Have you ever heard of Olympic trampolining?
Wait, are you serious?
I am serious. I work with people who whitewater rafting.
Disclaimer, everybody: if you are a Olympic trampolinist, sorry if we just offended you. I've never heard of that sport.
Me either. But it was really easy to work with them, and this is what you do. And I teach this in my program. I said, you basically come clean about it. You say, well, this isn't my strongest sport, but you're going to tell me what we need to do, what I need to know about your sport. As long as you're honest about it, they're cool, and they actually feel good about it. They feel good that they're the expert. They do not expect you to know much. Because you're just working with their belief. You just talk about, using simple terms. This is about your beliefs holding you back. This is about the fear. And I'm an expert in helping athletes become courageous and bold. That's all they want to hear. And helping athletes become confident. They know that if they can get the confidence, they can be fearless, boom. They know they're going to play their best. Yeah. You don't need to know what a breaking ball is in baseball. It doesn't matter.
Now, what's another objection you get from people? We've already covered price.
Yeah. It's funny. I don't even hear that much. Nobody's really ever asked me for a discount or said this is too much in my surveys. I think the biggest one is this is too hard, and that I don't know anything about boxing, and that what if an athlete asks me, how do I do a Yurchenko backflip when I'm not able to do my back tuck? I didn't know any of those terms. There's a fear of a hypnotherapist, not just for sports, but for working with any issue, that they think they need confidence to work with an issue. And one of the things I do in Module 1 is I teach directly the hypnotherapist that you don't even need confidence as a hypnotherapist. Throw that out the window. In fact, you're going to use this same message to teach your clients that you don't need confidence. In fact, people do amazing things all the time with zero confidence. And when you can destroy the belief that you need confidence to do something, well, wow, you just opened yourself up. And you can just let the desire push you towards your outcome. So I operate off this principle: performance equals potential minus interference. And it's, as we know as hypnotherapists, is those beliefs are a big part of that interference and the fears that it creates. And so it's the hypnotherapist's confidence mostly, and they'll put it in terms of, like I said, I don't know this sport, or I don't know anything about sports, but that's not really it. It's they don't think they are going to have the skills, or they don't somehow think
they can help them.
Right. We're, as a hypnotherapist, so many of us are just so afraid that somebody's going to pay us $200 and they're going to go through it and they're still going to have their problem. Well, if you're worried about that, you shouldn't be in hypnotherapy. You should not be a hypnotherapist. Because, let's face it, doctors have that same issue. We go to doctors and they don't get us our outcome. They can go to chiropractors and they don't get our outcome. Well, we do our best. And the great thing about sports that I want to get across, and this is what I spend a big chunk of my first module getting across, is that you put the client in charge of their outcome. And it's more, you take a position more as a mental coach. You get to teach and train, and you're giving them tools. And I'm always telling my clients, listen, this is just like, I'm your mental coach. This is just like your physical game coach. I'll tell them, does your physical game coach go out there and play for you? No. Does your physical game coach practice with you, or practice your sport, make you move your arms and legs to do? No, you have to do all that. And so I get my clients into that framework so that it's more like I'm teaching you. I'm going to show you what to do. We're going to do some things together while we have this 1 hour together. But see, I got this thing, my shirt's mental toughness trainer. So I've kind of moved into that. I'm kind of light on the whole hypnosis thing, and I'm more and as a hypnotherapist, if you follow my lead there and I teach you everything you know about it, then you don't have to worry about, will this client get their outcome? In fact, I've had some clients who, let me tell you one story. I had one client who came to me for a mental block. She was a pole vaulter, college pole vaulter. And she'd run down the track, could not plant the pole. And that's what she's coming to me for. And I took her through my program, my process. And before the 4th session started, it's usually 4 sessions, and then sometimes I see clients for tune-ups after that. But it's almost always 4 sessions. She comes in the 4th session, she goes, Craig, got something to tell you. I go, what's that? And her parents were there with her. She goes, I'm quitting pole vaulting. Yeah, and I was really, oh no, I failed. I didn't get.
I can almost guess where this is going.
You get right. They were all extremely thankful to me for the tools and the clarity she got. She had a mental block because her inner mind wanted her to do something else. She was actually a brilliant kid. She was a brilliant scientist kid. And she wasn't supposed to be messing around with pole vaulting. She was literally genius. And her unconscious mind was creating this block to get her attention, say, hey, what are you doing messing around with this stupid little pole? So her parents, and we had this thing, and it was just a wonder. I didn't get her outcome when she came to me for it.
It's almost like all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. She came to the realization.
Right, but he had no idea. So it's not even, a lot of times it's not even about me worrying about or trying to get their outcome, although I hold that in the back of my head all the time. And I say this because I want hypnotherapists to know this is probably the easiest issue, sports, to work on out of all the things we work on. And get this. They're highly motivated. Get this. And most of them are younger that you're going to see. And we all know this is like the sweet spot for hypnotherapy. You know, little kids, sometimes I find it a little difficult to work with 4, 5, 6-year-olds because I can't talk to them. You know, but and 80-year-olds, 70 and 80-year-olds are sometimes just so stuck in their ways. You got to break through all that junk, right, to even get to them. But the teenagers, they're not so jaded. They're wide open, and yet they're smart enough to follow you. It's
the real world hasn't set in yet. Jobs and bosses haven't really ruined them for life.
And they don't have that much junk. And they're just wide-eyed. They follow along. It's so satisfying. Anybody who's doing weight loss, that's 10 times harder than working with somebody in sports. 10 times. Anybody doing anxiety for adults, 10 times harder than working with kids in their sports. Smoking is, man, I'd have stress doing smoking these days because it's a defined outcome. The client's either going to quit or not, right? But how do you, it's so easy to help somebody go from, like in my testimonials, my kids, I ask them, so before we started on the confidence scale of 0 to 10, where were you? And before we started, they go, oh, 2 or 3. Where are you now? 6, 7, 8, 9, sometimes 10.
That's a good point.
You know how easy it is to get that? They are thanking you all day for that.
That's a good point because with especially smoking, for example, there's only, like you said, only 2 outcomes: smoking or 3 outcomes. Smoking, not smoking, dead. Not trying to get to the 3rd outcome. With let's say if somebody quits smoking for a month, if they start smoking again, they don't think of it as, oh my, I was successful for 2 months, or like I failed. Whereas with a kid, if you can get them to increase their performance, their confidence, whatever you want to call it, the beliefs in themselves, they notice that incremental change.
Right. And I have a number of scripts that are in the program as well that some of them are just tried and true, proven. I make a recording in the session. Sometimes I just read scripts for 15 minutes. You know, the work has already been done with some of my other techniques and just regular talk. And I just read a little script for 15 minutes, record it, and I send it to them in an email file. And the parents and the kids are like, I've been listening to that for the last 2 years. It's the greatest thing that ever happened to me. I give you those scripts in the program.
Oh, so I know a lot of people like to depend on scripts, so it seems like you've already done most of the work. It seems like the scripts are probably good just for giving the extra little bit of expectation for the client.
Absolutely. So, truthfully, Antonio, I give in this program, I give sports hypnotists or hypnotherapists who want to work with athletes way more than they'll ever need to work with an athlete. Way more. And you can just pick and choose what you're more comfortable with. Like, I have a person I'm working with teaching him hypnotherapy, and this person hates direct suggestion. And so she just loves the scripts I give her because she doesn't have to think. She's really good at process work. I have most people don't like process work, and they much rather do, talk, what I call waking hypnosis, and maybe read a script here and there. I got that for those people too. You can pick and choose what's going to work for you. And I have it all in this structure that you can, I call it the car wash. I literally move my clients through it, and I give hypnotherapists my exact structure. What to do on session 1, what to do on session 2, what to do on session 3, what to do on session 4. And you can pick and choose within those structures. So you don't show up to your session going, oh no, I wonder what I'm going to do here today. You've got it.
I've been there before.
Yes.
I've been there before. I think we all have at one point.
That's the beauty of sports. And you're a mental coach. What the heck is that? They don't know. They don't know what to expect. All you're doing is tell them, I'm going to teach you how to my brand of mental toughness, which is focus, confidence, determination, and resilience, especially under pressure. And they're like, yeah, bring it. Let's do that.
You sell those T-shirts? I'm going to have to get one of those.
I'm going to create a whole bunch of swag with this for my mental toughness. If you want some information on more of my teachings, I have another website called mentaltoughnesstrainer.com.
I'm gonna steal the logo. I'm gonna borrow it and send it somewhere here. So
absolutely. I'll send you a cool logo for that.
Perfect. everybody listening, do me a favor. Actually, better yet, let me rephrase that. Do yourself a favor. Look above or below this video if you're on my blog post, or if it's on Facebook, you'll see a link somewhere. Click the link, check the program out. And how long is the what's the guarantee on it? Was it 30 days?
I think I put on there 90 days, 60 or 90. I'll take a look. Yeah, but I give plenty of time to check it out. Plenty of time.
And I'm guessing the reason that you're sitting there like, oh, I don't remember. What's the return? How many returns have you had? So
I think I've had maybe one. And this was a person, believe it or not, if you sell anything online, there's always people who buy with the intent to refund.
Oh, yeah.
So somebody bought, and like 2 days later said, oh, there's nothing in here new for me. Yeah, right. Everything in there is new. I made up most of it from my experience. It's hilarious. I had to laugh. Of course I gave him his refund. And he went in and he probably grabbed my scripts, and maybe even, who knows, whatever.
But the thing is he doesn't have much value attached to it. There's no value attached to it, so he's probably not going to use it at all.
Probably not.
I remember when I was at 36 now. When I was a teenager, I would download like PDFs and all that, but I didn't use any of them. I'm like,
right.
I threw all that stuff away. And most of the stuff that, I'm not going to say who I downloaded from, but pretty much everything I downloaded, if it was a video, any kind of training, I ended up going out and buying that stuff.
Right.
I had way more value of actually buying it.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
and we know that we're all taught that in hypnotherapy school. Be careful when you want to work with friends for free. They're not going to value it. We know that. Right?
No.
Yep. So it's the same
Not
thing. Yep. It's the same thing with this. So, yeah, and everybody who's gone through my membership, they're just like blown away. I got some testimonials from the people who were actually at the training. You can go to the website and you'll see that. I had a 20-year psychologist who said, oh my gosh, I had no idea what I was signing up for here. This is stuff I can use for my entire practice. He says, I don't even know if I'll ever work with an athlete, but I got more out of this for the rest of my practice than even if I don't ever see an athlete.
Now let me ask, what's one of the biggest complaints that people have had with the program?
The only complaint I've had is sometimes video is slow loading for some people. Video is a tricky thing to do online. Some people have horrible connections, and I've created some workarounds for people who are in that situation. And I work with. What's that?
Like where they can actually do like an external download or something.
Yeah, well, I'll give them the program in a different method other than the normal membership, and so that they can download it and watch it at their leisure.
It's always good to have a damning admission, because if you tell somebody, I got the best product in the world, it's the best product, and nope, you won't hear anybody complain about it. BS.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up. I've been dealing with video online, selling products for athletes and golfers for years, and I've found workarounds, and there's always going to be people who have computer issues, so I'll help them through that in email or whatever I need to do to get them their product.
So you'll do everything bar going to their house, traveling to the house, and teaching them, right?
Yeah, I've almost had to do that once, but most of my clients are all over the world, so yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I had a little stutter moment and a brain fart. God, I hate that you stutter and you have a brain fart at the same time. Yeah,
no, I like that you're picking at the potential problems. That's awesome. And, I've worked through them all. I've heard them all. And I'm huge. I'm huge on customer service. People need me. You can email me directly. I answer. I don't have assistants. I answer, and you're talking to me.
Exactly. Craig, it's been awesome. And everybody, look above, look below, open your wallet, click one of those links, or click one of those links and then open your wallet. No, but seriously, all jokes aside, Went through his program about 2 days ago. Solid program. I've gone through, I think, one other sports hypnosis training programs, and it was pretty weak in my opinion. I'm not gonna say who it was because I don't want this person putting a hypnotic curse on me, a hypno hex or a curse. I don't want that. But yeah, definitely check his program out. And for everybody listening, you guys are, I know you guys are all smart. These are affiliate links, meaning that if you click his link, click one of the links, I'll make a little bit of cash. Helps me to pay rent and helps me to pay for hosting, so I can bring you more podcasts.
And make sure and tell them if they say they bought through you, Antonio, they use your name, they get a half an hour on the phone with me.
That is awesome. So they're valued at what, $100?
Yep.
And you guys, and you cannot sell your half an hour of time to other people. You can't buy the program and then try to make $100 by selling the time.
No, I'll verify it. I'll verify it.
I've already thought about this, you guys. I'm a marketer. We're both marketers. We already have these things happening. So it was been awesome. And you were about to say something.
No, I just wanted to say, you know, the people who bought my program before email me. I'm there for them after the fact, and I'll answer difficult questions there. I take care of people. I really want this to get out. You know, I want hypnotherapists to spread the message and help these athletes who are not getting help. These kids just quit. They end up quitting, and they go through life with these horrible beliefs. And so I'm really passionate about that and spreading that word. And so I really want the hypnotherapists to know I'm going to be there to back them when they struggle.
Look at it this way. Let's say if you help it, like you said, if you don't help the kids, end up going through life with all these beliefs, they can lead to many more problems. Like, oh, I'm not good enough. I've got this. Woe is me. Nip it at the bud.
Yep. There's another little side benefit I want to throw out there. You know, I've been invited to and gone to some professional sporting events from my pro athletes, and you know, get to sit in a cool box with them and take pictures with them, and it's pretty cool to be hooked into the professional sports community that way.
That's pretty sweet. I mean, out here on the island of Kauai, I've got 60,000, so that wouldn't do much for me out here. But for everybody that's not living on a teeny island in the South Pacific, run with it. Hey, Craig, it's been awesome, and everybody, links above, below. Leave me a comment, share this podcast, and basically share the love.
Thanks for having me, Antonio.
Yeah, definitely. I will talk to you soon.